Hello, Mia DeBolt here, and I'm here to bring you more transparency in trading. So today is day one. So I did start both the FTMO and the 8-cap or the funded trader. I was actually thinking that I was only going to focus on one challenge at a time as I was kind of contemplating after day 0, because I do like to focus when I am trading, but I ended up starting both of them. So I will share with you exactly what trades I took, where they ended up, and what day 1 looks like. All right, so let's dive into the charts and dive into my recording. So what I'm going to show you right now is what my recorded session is of my Zoom from this morning. So it's me live trading with my accounts, and I wanted to share that with you because it's something that you might consider when you're trading. So I like to Zoom record every single trade that I take. That way I can review those videos at the end of the month, at the end of the year, at the end of the day, at the end of the week. So whenever I choose to recall on those trades that I've taken, I not only chronicle and journal my trades, but I also video record them. That way I can see and kind of talk out loud. I don't always have to be typing, my thoughts and my feelings, but I can talk them out loud and do that on Zoom. So that's something that I like to do. So I want to kind of show you exactly what my Zoom trades were this morning. I sped it up so that we're not sitting through hours of video footage, but I am going to break down kind of what my thought process was this morning and what those trades are. All right, let's dive in. Okay, so I was thinking about this. I do record my face and I forgot to kind of hide that. So I'm going to be a talking head while I talk you through exactly what's on my screen. So I'm going to talk you through this video. I might stop it and just kind of give a little more recap and a little more expansion of what I was thinking. But for the most part, we're just going to dive into this video and look at the trades that I took. All right, so first and foremost, I do a top-down analysis every morning. I look at where the liquidity is residing. And so today, the liquidity was residing above the market price. So there's a 5:30 news event, a red folder news event, and so that spiked up, took the London high, but then it continued to retrace down to the 50%, down to this breaker, and then continued up. So that's where my recording is going to start. I'm not going to bore you with the hour and 12 minutes beforehand. And so I just wanted to kind of go over my live trading and my thought process. All right, so already we're seeing a trend for the morning of up, and the liquidity is residing here in the daily highs. There's old daily highs that are residing here. So that's kind of what my draw on liquidity is likely to happen and what I'm looking for. And so that is why I have my trade here. Based on my data, I have a certain amount of pips that I like to have as a stop loss, and then also my target. So my target was a lot above where the daily highs were, but just to be completely honest, I was looking at daily high 2 as my terminus target. So that's where I was looking for price to go to and for me to close out. Let's go into what my trades were, and then also you can kind of see here, this is actually going to be a mirror image of where I'm actually looking. So when I look to my left in the video, I'm actually looking to my right, and that's kind of my distraction area. That's where I like to look when I'm actually in a trade, because I'm doing something other than babysitting my trade. When I'm looking to the left, I'm looking at a bigger expansion picture of what the market is doing. So I like to compare both the S&P and the NASDAQ on my left screen. And so I have 3 screens, and my main screen is the one that you're seeing here. And so you can kind of see my head up here. It's going to be turning left and right. So that's kind of my thought process, is I'm analyzing, I'm really hyper-focused for my entry. And once I'm in the trade, I will set some type of alert so that I know when I can start focusing on my trade again. So I will be focused on something other than my trade. And so that's what I've found to be really effective for me. So let's dive in and let's see, exactly what this trade is. So the news event came out during the New York Open, and so you can see it spiked up and then started retracing. And so I like to enter my trades after the equity open at 9:30 Eastern. And so that's really where I'm looking for my trades. I'm not looking to enter anywhere earlier than that because typically the liquidity that's created during the New York Open is swept during the New York Stock Exchange Open. So that's where I like to just hold my water and wait and be patient to see where the market's wanting to go. This AO, this algorithm open, that is the New York Open of the algorithm. So at midnight every day is when the algorithm actually opens. That's a sensitive area. So I have all of these places marked up on my chart so that I can see exactly where all these opens are. This blue line is the London Open, this green line is the New York Open, and this blue line here, which is also close to the New York Open, is the daily open. So these are all opens. You can see this little salmon color up here. That's the New York Stock Exchange Open. So I typically like to wait a couple of candles after the New York Stock Exchange Open to see where price is going to go and where it's reacting. All right, so let's just dive in and I'll walk you through what I was thinking during the trade and before the trade. Okay, so I have this sped up to 2 times as fast, so you can see this is 2 times as fast, and also you can see that this is this morning 117 at 641. So it did spike down, take a short-term low right here. So it created a fair value gap right here on the 1 minute. And so that's what I was watching. And that's the reason I entered there. So FTMO is where I entered first and I was thinking about it. One of the things that ICT teaches is to actually buy when the algorithm is going down. So if I'm looking for a buy side target to be taken, I should be buying when the price is going down. So that was like there, I should have been buying. That was a good entry. Of course, I'm still new to his concepts and I'm still learning, so it's really hard for me to actually push the buy button when price is going down. So still something that I'm working through, but my price should be holding because of my stop loss being wide enough. It's also 50% of this 5-minute bullish order block, so that's something that I'm also considering. All right, so I just entered 8cap, and so 8cap is the funded trader, and so I started both of my challenges today, and so you'll see that I'm managing both of those, and that second long position was the 8cap, and so I just hid that so that there wasn't too much going on my screen. I like to focus in on just one at a time. And so what this little pink area down here is that 1 minute fair value gap. So that's something that I want to be like a breakaway gap, so I want that to stay open. And I want this short-term high to be taken. So that's what I'm looking for. I'm making sure that I have the ability to close or move my stop loss when the structure is broken. So that's kind of what I was doing right there, is making sure that I can actually move those. And so that 1 minute fair value gap, that's a good sign. We've broken that market structure shift, so we have that confirmation that we're going up. We had that rejection from this order block, this bullish order block, and so this fair value gap was completely closed in, but that's okay. And so now we're looking for this short-term high to be taken. So I did have to endure some little retracement down here, and pretty soon I will start looking over to the left. So again, when I'm looking to the left, I'm distracting myself with other things. And so I've set my alert for up here, and my alert is basically telling me that it's continuing, and hopefully it continues with a nice fair value gap. And so that'll really be the indication that it's starting to continue. So I'm a little bit into profit. I did want to start my challenges at 2% each with the trades, but I was not as confident with this price action this morning, so I just decided to half that and to start it with 1%. Okay, so I had to endure a little bit more of the retracement, but these two candles right here, that should be an indication that's a bullish order block, and so that should not be disrespected. Again, too, these are bullish order blocks, so once this candle hopefully closes above this structure, that would be an indication that it's going up as well. So that's kind of what I'm looking for. I'm looking for that fair value gap to continue to stay open, and I don't believe it does. It did break that, the bodies of the candle did break the structure, so it is continuing up, but I did have to endure a little bit more of the retracement. That little low was taken and it bounced off of the open of those bullish order blocks. So that's kind of what I'm looking for as the indication that it's either reversing or it's going to continue up. So I'm just watching those candles and making sure that those aren't being disrespected. So right now, of course, I'm distracting myself so that I'm not babysitting this, but that's kind of my thought process when I'm looking and peeking over. Okay, so peeking over, making sure that the order blocks are being respected. And so I really want to see this 5-minute candle close above, and we'll see where that goes. So it starts extending out, kind of like what ICT says, a caffeinated run. And so that is peeked into a little bit, but that now is the order block that I'm watching and making sure that that stays open and doesn't get disrespected. Now, of course, this is the order block that is really the important order block. So higher time frame is always going to trump lower time frame. And so it's okay if this order block is disrespected because it's part of this long wick here. So as long as the half of that is not disrespected and it doesn't close below this order block, then it should be okay. All right, so kind of again just peeking over, making sure. Now I am minimizing my risk by moving my stop loss up, and I tried to move it up, but I had to accept that terms and conditions, so it didn't actually move my stop up, so I don't actually notice that until later. But the point was that I was moving my stop loss up to reduce my risk and to places where I felt price was not going to disrespect and not return to yet. Okay, so there we go. Now I can move it to 50% of that order block. And so that's kind of where I'm looking at the 5-minute, and the 5-minute candle is about 50%, a little bit more, so that there's a little bit of wiggle room. And on 8 cap as well, so about the 50% mark. All right, so getting a little nervous here, just because it did retrace a little bit further than I would like, but there's the New York Stock Exchange open right there. It's just accumulating more orders down here, taking out and scaring the longs out of the market. And so the algorithm is just repricing, and it's going to respect that 2 sets of candles. So that order block is going to be respected, and you'll see that it starts to make its way up again. So another indication, this 1-minute order block, the candles close above the lows, above the closes, and so that's kind of another indication that we're not breaking structure yet. And so that's another kind of warm and fuzzy. It's not quite as warm and fuzzy as I'd like, but it did end up going in the direction. So we're waiting on this short-term high now to be taken, and for price to start accelerating up to the daily highs. So that's kind of what I'm looking for. I believe ICT was actually looking for that as well. So that was something that I always analyze what he's looking at, even though he trades the E-mini. and I'm trading these CFDs on my challenge accounts. The price is so similar, but sometimes the actual price levels are different. So he was looking for 40.30, which ended up being the daily high too. So that is kind of what I was looking for as well. So I just cross-checked and made sure that that was something that was in alignment. All right, so price is going caffeinated. It's really speeding up and took all those highs. And so now it took some buy side. If I had been in the trade for 2%, I likely would have taken just 1% off. But because I'm only in this for 1%, I'm just reducing my risk, and I'm also just waiting for terminus. So I'm waiting for that daily high 2 to be taken. Okay, so I've reduced risk on both of the 8 cap and on my FTMO. I'm going to move myself here, that way you can kind of see where the price is going. So I like to have the 15-minute or some type of higher time frame confirmation over here on my split screen. And then I do like 1 minute on the trading view better, just because it's a lot more clean than my MT4s, but typically I'll have either the 5-minute or the 15-minute over here on the right hand side. So always higher time frame confirmations. Okay, so we're speeding up. I'm almost at a place where I can close, and I'm closing out about 80%. I didn't do the math because I was in the moment. So I closed out 35 of the 42 lots, and then I closed out about the same 80% on the 8 cap as well. So I moved my stop up and I paid the trader, which is really important. Okay, so I'm going to fast forward this a little bit just because it is going to retrace, and because I took 80% off, I was pretty happy with my trades already. So having the stop loss in a reasonable area was something that eventually got hit. So I moved my stop up to 50% of that 1 minute candle. And so you can see here that it actually got hit, and that's okay with me because I banked what I needed to bank, and that was just going to start retracing and eventually stop my trade out. So had I kept everything and waited and been stubborn for my TP up here, it would have stopped me out. So that's something that you have to consider, is when your targets are taken, make sure that you pay the trader and that you move your stop up so that it really is a risk-free trade. So that's something that I've learned from both of my mentors. Partials I learned from ICT, how to actually take effective partials, and then moving my stop to a place where it can get stopped out and I don't feel any burn from that because I'm not losing anything. I actually made 1.8, and then I also made 1.95 from my 8 cap. So one of the things that I want you to notice too is after I banked that and got my profits for the morning, I closed everything out. So I walked away from my computer, I was done for the day, and I was really happy with those profits. I'm not going to give them back in the PM session. I'm not trading the PM session, and I'm going to reset and be back to neutral for tomorrow. So I know that I have a little bit of cushion. That's something I learned from my mentor, Danny Reardon. And so I like to trade with profits, but I don't keep that in my head as far as like that's what I can lose, right? So I want to take high quality trades just like I did today. And that's what day 2 is going to look like, is I'm going to be really picky, continue to build that cushion, even if it's 1 to 2% a day. I only have an 8% goal or target for phase 1 for the funded trader. So 8 cap, I only need 8%, and I can do that in 5 days. So I'm already 25% there to that 8% goal. And then FTMO, I have a 10% goal, and I can do that in 10 days. So a minimum of 10 trading days. So I'm almost 20% to that goal. So that's kind of where I'm at. I'm starting with a cushion from day 1, but I will be taking high quality trades all through this this challenge. And part of the reason is that I want to demonstrate that if I can do it, you can too. So I'm going to be super picky. I'll break down any trade that I take tomorrow. So I look forward to sharing with you more transparency in trading. So if you haven't subscribed already, subscribe so that you follow me along this journey and you get all of my trades, all of the days that I am clocking for my 7-figure funding. So I look forward to seeing you in day 2, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye.